Good evening. Tonight I am here with John Grisham, who wrote the book A Time to Kill, a riveting story about a black man who murdered two white men for allegedly raping and trying to kill his daughter. Thank you for coming and talking with us tonight, Mr. Grisham.
My pleasure.
Well, let's get down to business. I found your book very interesting and quite controversial. Black people versus white people in a time where black people are slowly gaining rights and becoming part of the white community. Many of the white characters in your book didn't seem to like this very much. My first question for you is, do you personally believe in revenge? If so, is that why many of your characters in your book were seeking revenge on Carl?
I personally believe it all depends on the situation. In many situations, there is no need to get revenge. I do believe, though, that when people physically harm one another, they do deserve what they get. In my book, you notice that many people seeking revenge are family members who have been hurt for losing someone close. That's what happens when people feel pain. They want the person who inflicted it to feel the same pain, to know how it feels to lose someone, or to physically feel the pain they know that person went through.
This leads me to my second question, about the morality in Carl about the killing of the two boys. Does Carl have any morality in the killing?
I wanted people to see and feel the pain Carl went through, seeing his daughter all cut up and hearing how she was raped and how she barely got out of being hung to death. What would you do in a situation like that? Someone you know and love being hurt in such an unthinkable way? Would you want those people to feel the pain you know that person went through? Carl sure did. He wanted justice for those boys' unthinkable actions. For Carl, being a father, it was hard for him to not be able to be there when his daughter needed him most. Now that would be a horrible feeling. Carl wanted those boys to be unable to harm anyone else. He definitely didn't care about them and thought they got what they deserved.
I know as a father, I would never want my daughter to go through anything like that. It would be heartbreaking, not being able to be there for her. Do you think it would have made a difference if the men who had raped his daughter were black?
Definitely. Carl wouldn't have killed a man that he knew was going to jail. What Carl wanted was justice, something he wasn't going to get with those two boys being white. Even his attorney said so. He killed those boys because he knew they would only get a little bit of jail time or none at all. And Carl didn't think that was right.
Why do you think Mr. Bergens didn't tell anyone Carl was going to kill the two boys?
I think Mr. Bergens understood the way Carl felt and would do the same if he was in the situation where he knew he wouldn't get a fair trial.
During the trial, between Carl and the deceased's attorney, there seemed to be a lot of tension in the court. Do you think it had to do with race, or was it more because Carl killing the two men?
If you can picture the courtroom, one side was for black people, the other side for white people. Much of it had to do with race and how a black man killed two white men. So a bit of both to fully answer your question. The tension also revolves around the defending attorney, who is white. People were not happy about a white person standing up for a black person in a situation so big.
Is there a difference in morality in the book than what you believe?
Much of it comes back on who I am and what I believe. Mr. Bergens, Carl's attorney, is a strong-willed man and would do anything in his power to try and make this right. He understands Carl's situation and reflects it back on his personal life. I try to do this as much as possible in my own life, to try and understand people. My books relate back to me, my feelings, and my thoughts.
Thank you once again, Mr. Grisham, for coming tonight and sharing your thoughts about the book with us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.